Ah, friends, so you might have realised that this Dusting the Shelves episode looks way shorter than it should for a vlog of a 555-page book. But that, my friends, is because I have decided to DNF this at the first reading update. So I've actually got quite a lot to say because I read 144 pages of this, and I was going to give you an update once I reached the end of chapter 2. That took 144 pages. So why am I DNFing this book? The reason number one is because the author has used the N word 4 times and the author has used the R word 1 time, and as she is a white author, and as far as I know she is an able-bodied author. As far as I know, I could be wrong on that regard, but either which way, no business using the N word, no business using the R word, totally unnecessary. And there's like background racism happening in this book, and it just makes me very uncomfortable. I'm not happy with this language, I'm not happy that the author has used it that way, and it's quite interesting because, you know, you're just getting a rant here instead of a vlog. I'm so sorry, but I've read Donna Tartt before. I have read The Secret History back when it came out, somewhere around then. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I don't remember there being black people in that book, which I think gave her the opportunity to not use this language. However, I have read The Goldfinch as well. I read that back when I was 15 or 16. It was a very long time ago, and I loved that book. Since then, I have heard reviews that said she uses the N-word in that book as well. And I did not take it seriously, but I just didn't think about that when I picked up The Little Friend, that this book predates The Secret History and comes after The Goldfinch, so she might not have changed her ways in this one yet, and she hasn't. And I should have thought about that a bit more. The Goldfinch is a book that I still have, and I've got some very fond memories of reading that book in my nana's house, and so I don't think I'm ready to get rid of it yet, because there's only very few books that I remember like consuming it entirely in my nana's house in like a particular armchair. It's tied with memories, and I also used it for my like school essay that was very important in the NYP program, so it's hard for me to let go of it. It's for the extended essay for people who've done IB, so it's hard for me to let go of that book. I will never reread it. I already know it's on my shelf and I will never reread it because I don't want to smear the beautiful memories I have of it with what it's really like now that I'm older and wiser as a reader. But this book, it brings me back to this book. So in the beginning there's the prologue, and in the beginning someone dies. In the prologue somebody dies. Now this is not a spoiler. If you've read The Goldfinch, you'll know somebody dies in the prologue. If you've read The Secret History, you know somebody dies in the prologue. Donna Tartt kills people in prologues, okay? Not everybody will survive her prologues. And then the rest of her books typically seem to be filled with grief. Now I say grief like this because the grieving often looks very different. In The Goldfinch, it's a certain object that it gets tied to. In The Secret History, the grief is not really tied, I would say. The grief is more like this person has died, and you find out why and how it happened. And then in this one, somebody dies, and it's about the family members and their grief and how they react to their grief. That's what this book is about. I actually don't know if that's what the whole book is about, but that's what the first 144 pages is about. Yes, it is. A revelation of familial longing and sorrow. The Little Friend explores crime and punishment. So that's what this book is about. And I wasn't bored, you know, because her writing is so lovely. Aside from the language, I do think her descriptions are lovely, and she knows how to paint a picture with her words. I was reading this book and I was feeling immersed. I was feeling there with our characters who don't really remember this person, but who have been told how tragic it all was and how they have to live with the consequences of this tragedy that didn't actually happen to them in the same way that it happened to everybody else. And so it is engaging, it is quite easy to read, and then it'll just hit you with the N-word, or hit you with some racism, or hit you with some classism, and then I will just feel so out of it and like I don't want to continue reading this book. And so I wouldn't say that I had an awful time with those first 144 pages, but I don't want to read this book anymore, and I was actually thinking of continuing reading and and finishing this book, simply because I am doing dusting off the shelves and I hadn't set any parameters around DNFing. But the problem with me is I am a DNFer, and if I'm reading a book I don't like and have to force myself to the end, it slows down all of my reading. It slows down everything because I don't want to read anymore. And why am I stopping myself from doing a hobby that I like when I could just put the book down? I could just put the book down. And so while I haven't made any rules about dusting the shelves and whether or not I keep the vlog if I DNF or I replace it with a different book, I've decided I'm setting the rules here and now. So if I DNF a book, what I've vlogged up until the point of me DNFing it is what I share. So if you see a very short vlog, it means I've probably DNF'd the book, which I highly suspect will not happen for the rest of the books, simply because for all but maybe 2 or 3 of them, I have read those authors before and I know I like their style. So I highly suspect we're not going to have more DNFs. However, could happen. But I will share my vlog for up until the point I DNF'd with my thoughts for up until I DNF, and I don't have to replace it with the next oldest book on the TBR. The point of me dusting off my shelves is to read or unhaul the 10 oldest books. And I said read in my original announcement video, but it's read or unhaul. The point is to clear those 10 books off of my shelf, and if I DNF and unhaul all 10 books, that's also me clearing them off. So that's the rules and parameters I've set, but I just could not force my way through this book. And I do think of a 555 page book, reading 140 pages of it is giving it a very good shot. You know, I don't always give books that long before I DNF. The font is minuscule. Can you see that? Yeah, the font is tiny, there's a lot of words on the page. It was going to be a long journey for me, and while I've typically liked Donna Tartt's journeys before, this is not one I'm ready to embark on. I've also now read all 3 of her books that she's published. I've enjoyed one back when I was a teenager, and I haven't enjoyed the other 2. So I think that's it. That's me calling it for me and Donna Tartt. I don't know if she's ever going to publish another book, but if she does, I'm okay. I'm okay. Please let me know in the comment section down below, what was the last book you DNF'd? And if you don't DNF, what's a book that you wish you'd had the ability to DNF for? Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, I guess. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. It's just a shame that this is how we started the challenge, but what can you do? You know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior.
Thank you.